So, with the recent set, we got some pretty cool quote-unquote dredge cards. We got this card called Exhibition Tightcaller, which is a 1-mana card that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target player mills 3 cards. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, that player mills 10 cards instead. But the second portion of the text is not going to matter for us in this deck because we're not going to be playing anything over 4 mana, which is going to be the Creeping Chill. But because we're going to be playing Exhibition Tightcaller, we're also going to be playing a lot of 1-mana cards. Starting off with the Otherworldly Gaze. Pair it up with the Tightcaller. It can mill 6 cards in the graveyard, and then you can flash back again, milling additional 6 cards, which is insane. And we also have Tome Scour, which can potentially mill 8 cards if you pair it up with the Tightcaller. And if you also get some creatures stuck in your hand, you can even Bone Shard, mill 3 cards, killing your opponent's cards, and discard a card from your hand. What's not to like? Last but not least, we also play a Faithless Looting. Pair it up with a Tightcaller. We can also discard 2 cards and mill 3 cards at the same time. So the Tightcaller is going to be doing a lot of work in milling a lot of the creatures into the graveyard. And another new card that we're going to be playing is a card called Advanced Floral Invocation, which is a 1-mana enchantment class that says Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, mill 2 cards. So if you have multiple of these on the battlefield, it does stack. So even drawing a land now potentially becomes a mill spell. And it even has a really, really nice level 2. Whenever land you control enters, creatures in the graveyard perpetually get +1/+1. So when a land comes to the battlefield, it's going to mill 2 cards into the graveyard, and then it's going to pump the Bloodghast in the graveyard, and then the Bloodghast comes onto the battlefield as a 3/2. And if the Bloodghast does end up in the graveyard again, the next time the Bloodghast comes back onto the battlefield, it's going to become a 4/3. So this card is actually pretty insane with the Bloodghast, because even without the huge army, just getting back a Bloodghast or Prize Amalgam onto the battlefield, if it got buffed by the level 2 bunch of times, it could just kill your opponent outright. So this enchantment class is actually pretty interesting because even drawing a land becomes very valuable. Alright, let's try this deck out. We're missing 1 land. I think I'm gonna try this. We have Looting. So I think I'll probably go with the Advanced Floral Invocation first. And then I'll go into a Looting. This way we set up land draws into milling. We'll see. Prismatic Ending. Interesting. It wasn't able to mill anything playable there. Oh, that's unlucky. Double Creeping Chills in our hand. Yikes. Okay. We have somehow milled nothing. "30 cards deep in, actually, which is kind of insane. Is it not? So it looks like this is like whole bunch of board wipe potentially in their like sitting in their hand. Might as well play one of these. Into a reprieve. Does that mean they don't have it? They don't have a board wipe here? By the way, these prize amalgam, just getting 1+1+1 makes it so much stronger. Kind of insane. Lotus Field with the consult the star charts. Alright, let's attack. So I guess land would be like the best card. There's a land. So I'm gonna be holding on to this land for next turn. So Divine Purge was like the last thing I wanted to see, right? Because it excels, right? Can we see like another Bloodghast Mild? Oh, there's already 2 Bloodghast in there. Ooh, Narcomoeba. Haha. Consign as well. That's why their hand was so clunky, because they had things like Consign and Blood Sun. I mean, it's to enable the Lotus Field, but if you have too many of them, you know, they don't quite work. So what I can do is probably just looting to see if I can get a land. Seems like it's a reprieve. Into a Cyber Siphoner. So that's their last card. So I can Narcomoeba, attack, put opponent to 3, and then I can glimpse the unthinkable into potentially milling the last Creeping Chill. So, they're going to counter that though. Do I want to wait? So right now they can draw 2 and discard a card. Maybe I just wait. If they don't want to use this, then they can't draw cards, so I'll just wait. And I'll attack again. Prismatic Ending. So a lot of Silver Moat Ghouls coming out. Looting again. Just one land and we can win though. Or just get a Creeping Chill out. So no Creeping Chills. Creeping Chill is at the bottom 8. So I'll put a stop on my upkeep. So it seems like they have a Consign in hand. Is what I'm getting at. Tidecaller and a land. Right, I think we should be able to win here, maybe. I mean, I guess it could be another Consign. It could be another Consign, yeah. Well, if it's a Consign, let's see it. Oh, it's a Creeping Chill too. Oh, it's a Magma Opus. Cyber Siphoner. They have 2 mana left over. They're trying really hard to survive. Alrighty. We might actually lose this. If they have one more way to disrupt our board here. It's possible. Oh? Maybe not? Alright, we go to game 2. That was a pretty close one. Okay, so unfortunately, opponent doesn't play a board wipe that destroys things, so I don't think this is the play. I think we just bring Psychic Frogs, right? Because let's say like Rest in Peace lands, I can't really destroy it with the Ancient Grudge. And bouncing it with the into the Flood Maw doesn't really do anything. So I'll have the Psychic Frog, get rid of 2 copies of Tome, and I'll also get rid of like 2 Unthinkables. Ooh. Double Bloodghast. That's a good one. Right, so I can definitely go Psychic Frog here, but I think I'm just going to play Exhibition Tightcaller into Otherworldly Gaze. Because I don't want to get this countered, right? I do think opponent potentially has a counter spell. Ooh, we got the Narcomoeba. Floral Invocation. So we play this next turn. And then I play this the following turn. How good is this actually? The thing is, I don't have a play next turn. I would just be playing this and then, that's still fine. Let's attack. Okay, it was a reprieve. So this is the card that like the 4-mana card. I think I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna attack. Oh, opponent actually takes the damage. I think I'm just going to Otherworldly Gaze at the end of opponent's turn. Or potentially like a board wipe comes out and then I'll Otherworldly Gaze. And then we can go like land into Unthinkable. Wow, that's a pretty good mill. Orim's Chant. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to loop Orim's Chant into that one card. I wonder if they also play Ephemerate then. Divine Purge. Kinda half expected that. Like for sure, I thought they would have something like a Divine Purge. All right, so we're looking for a land here. Looking for a land. Get that Bloodghast online. Okay, so I'll play the Glimpse. Let's see what happens. I think it's that the 4-mana card that can flashback something. But we'll see. There we go. Let's see what they flash back. They went for the reprieve, so we can do it again. Into a Glimpse. Alright, GG's. That was a 20-minute game. Alright. We do have an Arcomoeba and Prize Amalgam, but we have a 3 lands with the Faithless Looting, I think. And then we also have an Expedition Tidecaller as well. This looks pretty good. Like, it's not the most exciting hand, but we have the looting, so that's... Oh, so we're playing against the Affinity deck. Sure. Ooh, they're playing Tormod's Crypt. Pretty bad, I would say. A Tome Scour. So we're gonna see a first Tormod's Crypt come out here. So, a bit unfortunate, but... You know? Hopefully game 2 goes well. Ha, second Tormod's Crypt. And an Arcbound Ravager. Alright, we are dead. Fatal Push, Ancient Grudge, and the Psychic Frog. We'll take out like 2 Unthinkable. I'm actually not sure about the Fatal Push either. I could just completely ignore killing something. Since I'm going first this time. This one definitely looks like a very unfavorable matchup. All right, we need an actual land here. Like starting town or something like that. Okay, so they got the first Tormod's Crypt out. The first Tormod's Crypt. We also need a land. We do also need a land. Okay, so Ancient Grudge, the Arcbound Rapture, but they can just grab it again. Oh, that's very nice, actually. So maybe I'll actually just... Okay, maybe I attack first, and then they'll sacrifice something. And I'll play a land, and they'll Tormod's Crypt? So they're gonna sacrifice 2 cards. Wow. I mean, 3 cards. That's a lot. I wonder if I should go Ancient Grudge first, then. This is a lot of cards they're sacrificing, so... Oh. Okay, bit surprised. Oh, they're just going to sacrifice already. So that was, I think that was a win, right? They sacrificed how many cards? Like 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that was a win. They draw 2 cards. All right, so first things first, I'll Exhibition Tidecaller. I'll get rid of a Pinnacle Emissary, or I can go Ancient Grudge, get rid of a Pinnacle Emissary, and then I'll get rid of a Great Furnace. Is that better? Maybe that is. Maybe that's a lot better. Ah, unfortunate. Oh my god, we have it again. We have the combo again. Thank you, opponent. That was indeed very nice. So if I deal 3, 6 damage here. I think I'm just going to deal as much damage as possible here. And then we also have a haste creature here. And opponent's exactly at 2. Do we need more Ancient Grudge, by the way? This was actually pretty insane. Maybe we need more Ancient Grudge. Alright, we are going second this time. I don't think we can actually rely on this card getting value because they probably play 4 Tormod's Crypt plus even potentially more Graveyard Hates in their sideboard. I think that 4 Tormod's Crypt are in the main deck. So potentially this is probably not that good. I'll want some removal spells instead. I can see myself cutting like a silver mode, maybe a Narcomoeba. Right, we have a Bone Shard with the Tide Collar. Maybe. Another one. Glimpse the Unthinkable. So, 1 Ancient Grudge spotted. But rather a poor mill, I would say. But they're going to be drawing a lot of cards here. Kappa Cannoneer. I made a mistake. Darn. I needed to Bone Shard first. No. Alright. It looks like opponent has a counter spell. I think I'd rather prefer opponent drawing random cards. Instead of getting back an Arcbound Ravager that they can grab, right? So I'll do the Ancient Grudge first. And then I'll Bone Shard, get rid of Emery. No? I guess, oh. Maybe they just didn't have anything. Okay. I mean, that's good for me, I would say. So I'm gonna be able to actually hard cast this Creeping Chill, by the way. No. So I think they actually might... I don't think they should Tormod's Crypt yet. So I can sacrifice this and kill this. Potentially. That's something I can do. Or I can play this and then get this back and they'll force a trigger on the Tormod's Crypt. And I'll play the Bloodghast. Attack with everything. They'll probably trade for a Bloodghast. Opponent goes to 5, and I'll kill the Pinnacle Emissary, and I'll mill myself. And I get a Creeping Chill here. Oh man, so opponent's dead next turn, unless they have a counter spell. How did this happen? Ooh, that's a good one. So they have 10 damage. Oh. Did they not have lethal? 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, they had 19 damage. Alright, GG's. Okay, Ancient Grudge? Insane. Insane value. Okay, we're playing against Giganta. I don't really like the look of my hand. We do have a other early gaze, but we don't even have any ways to discard. Plus, if opponent's playing Jund, they might actually take away the gaze, and then I won't have a second mana to cast Glimpse the Unthinkable. So I think this is a mulligan. So we have another bad hand, but I think we just have to keep it. Besides this one Creeping Chill, I think this is fine because we have a looting here. So starting town. So this means it's a Jund. Opponent didn't Thoughtseize. There's a good chance they have a removal spell. So I think I'm just going to looting here. Okay, we found a second land, which is great. But we don't have a turn 2, which is not good. You're missing out. So top decking another looting Tome Scour or like any of the 1 mana or even a land actually might be good. Okay, so we got a land. So we'll set up a Tidecaller. And this is definitely a little bit questionable. But they got a Baragoyf with the Detective Phoenix. Definitely not where I want to be, I would say. So I can trigger the 3 silver mode ghouls from coming out with the creeping chill. Or I can get greedy and then just play the Tome Scour. The Detective Phoenix can 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it can come out. So they can hit me for a lot of damage here. And looks like we're probably gonna be dead. Ooh, they messed up, right? They could have played the Detective Phoenix if they sacrificed that card. Okay, another prize Malcolm drawn. I might actually play this card and then Tome Scour. Because I want to block her for like the fear of missing out, but might actually be just dead, I don't know. The Baragoyf just kind of kills us. Right? We do have 1 Bone Shard in the deck. But I'm just not sure how we're gonna be able to beat this Baragoyf, especially considering that they have a Detective Phoenix. If it weren't for the Detective Phoenix, maybe we had a shot. Okay, it doesn't actually matter. So block, block. Otherworldly Gaze. Narcomoeba. I think we're dead kind of no matter what here. I think this is the time to go to the next game. All right. I'm gonna sideboard in 2 copies of Prodigy. I might actually play 2 Surgicals against the Baragoyf. It's just the card's just too nuts against us. So this is a Toxic Deluge protection. We'll see how that goes. Another kind of a mediocre hand, but we have all the colors. Okay, Bloodghast. We'll go into Floral Invocation. So they don't have a 3-mana card, from the looks of it. The opponent doesn't have a 3-mana card. Oh, we're drawing a whole lot of nothing. Drawing a whole lot of nothing. Abrupt Decay. Okay, so let's just discard these two. I'll keep this land for next turn, maybe. Yeah, unfortunately this time, I think what opponent has is they might actually have like bunch of this actually might be like a board wipe, but we don't exactly know. Okay, we milled a Creeping Chill. I think I kind of want to draw this. So all of these cards are gonna come out here. Do I play a land though? Like say this is a board wipe, they board wipe me. Do I need the Ghast? That's the thing. So we're getting 1-2. Only two oh, I don't even have a single prize amalgam actually. So never mind. I'll just have these cards come out. I thought for some reason there were some prize amalgams, so I was kind of thinking about whether I should play it or not, but nope. No prize amalgams. Oh, I accidentally put a stop too late. There we go. So I think I'm just going to... Actually, do I even get rid of a Giganta, by the way? Let's say I don't get rid of the Giganta. I have an Arcomoeba blocking the Giganta. I don't think... I'm just worried about opponent top decking a Baraglyph. But we'll see. But maybe even if they top deck a Baraglyph, I should be fine. Yeah, this is the card that I was actually worried about. Like, if they went Malevolent Rumble and then they fear missing out, they can attack with the Giganta twice, but they got a Baraglyph here. Kind of sucks, actually. Surgical Amalgam. I mean, I can double block and kill it. But they're gonna be gaining a bunch of life here. Why would they surrender? They have a Baraglyph, don't they? Opponent goes to 9. They're not dead. So... Okay, so... Man, I will say kind of rough, kind of rough. Should I have Into the Floodmaw against the Baraglyph instead of a Surgical? I think that's much better. Go up to... I'm not 100% sure about this card either. It's good against Toxic Deluge. It also has Death Touch. I'm gonna actually go down on a copy of a Tidecaller. Okay, this actually looks really, really good. Tidecaller, Gaze, Gaze. So I'm guessing they're just leaving up a Fatal Push here. I don't need lands at the moment. Why would they surrender? I'm actually going to click the frowny face. Like, so I could have put the blood gas into the graveyard, get the blood gas out, and then I think I actually probably would have topped this card because it has that touch, and even if a Baraglyph comes out, I have a blocker. Alrighty, so we took a look at Dredge today. Well, not technically a Dredge, because we don't have any Dredge cards in Historic, but it actually worked way better than I expected. We had some pretty hard matchups where people had main board answers to a lot of our stuff here, but somehow we were actually able to get through it, which was very much a surprise. I think the Advanced Floral Invocation was actually pretty fantastic. Like, this particular Dredge wasn't like, you know, the fastest Dredge combo deck out there, but thanks to this card buffing all the cards in the graveyard, I often had like a 4-3 Bloodghast sitting in the graveyard. Even just like getting like 1 or 2 Bloodghast back onto the battlefield, I had a ton of power thanks to this card. So even against like a control deck, just like 2 Bloodghast coming down on the battlefield, I was able to pressure my opponent's life total fairly well, especially like considering that we're also milling Creeping Chills into the graveyard. This was actually quite good. This also becomes a lot better as more Advanced Floral Invocation comes down on the battlefield. So if you started with like a turn 1 of this card, and then the turn 2 of this card again into a land, it does add up. So potentially, you're actually supposed to play like maybe 3 copies of it. I can see myself playing 3 copies of it. And although this card was also pretty good, it often just died to a removal spell on turn 1. Maybe go down on this card and then have this card instead. I actually quite like this card plus the synergy between this one and the gaze together. Like you often mill like something like a gaze and then you flash back to kind of fix your top so that you draw more lands. Having just like more copies of a Floral Invocation might actually make the deck even more consistent because drawing lands actually becomes relevant because you actually have an end game with the Bloodghast plus this card. So, and then if the Bloodghast also comes back onto the battlefield, Prize Amalgam also comes back onto the battlefield. So we got some pretty good synergies here. Obviously going up on enchantment, right, does make the Tidecaller a little bit worse. That's why I initially had only 2 copies of this card and had 4 copies of this card instead. And I would say Tome Scour, Glimpse the Unthinkable, Bone Shard, these are gonna be your flex slots and potentially even Tidecaller as well. So post sideboard, you can cut some of these cards. Potentially, you can cut like a copy of a Silver Mogul, or like a copy of a Narcomoeba, or a copy of a Prize Amalgam for the sideboard cards as well. If you see that opponent is like mainboarding Graveyard Hates, that's when you sideboard in some Psychic Frogs. Or let's say if opponent has something like a Rest in Peace, Psychic Frog is also really good. If they play something like a Leyline of the Void, you can sideboard into the Flood Maw. It does seem like this is also a pretty good option versus something like a Baragoyf. So this is something that you can sideboard against them as well. Then you have two kinds of Fatal Push. I have some removal spells just because if you do end up meeting something like an Aura deck, I bet that matchup is gonna be pretty miserable. You know, depending on like what you're facing, you can put some more copies of a Fatal Push as well. And if you see a lot more affinity decks, you can even potentially go up on more copies of Ancient Grudge. This card was absurd versus affinity, so a very fantastic card against them. And last but not least, this one's you don't need to play this card. I have two copies here, but potentially like if you expect opponent to bring a lot of board wipes, this is something that you can bring. Obviously, something like a Divine Purge is not gonna work. It does say that whenever like non-token creature is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, it'll create a 2/2. So if they don't play that many exile spells, this is something that you can play. And it also kind of acts as a potential graveyard hate against Yawgmoth decks. So it'll get rid of persist cards, but it does need to combo with a Creeping Chill. You do have to mill a Creeping Chill to get the bridge from below into the graveyard, so that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, it was a really fun deck. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all next one. Bye bye.